if you're looking for a coach, sometimes you don't always get the right fit right off the bat. And I found that out the hard way, because when I made the decision to hire a coach, to make that investment, the first 2 coaches I had fired me like right away. So, I don't know, looking back, it could have been a couple of different reasons, but I felt I was actually kind of impressed in a way, because the message I got there was you're valuable, and for us not being a good fit to continue together in a relationship wouldn't be the best thing for you. And so I felt like he was telling me it wasn't the best thing for me to be paired with him. So it took me a couple of coaches, and then my coach, Andy Hannigan from St. Louis, Missouri, he's the one that helped us financially really turn around a profit and become very profitable. And he said couple of things. One thing, I had a session with Andy one time, and I was just kind of complaining. One of the things that feeds our business is lead generating and getting on the phones and making those contacts, because we know contacts is going to lead to appointments, and appointments leads to business.
Really,
and
doesn't matter what business you're in.
It's
all about that.
Selling seashells by the seashore. It's all a lead generation business, right? And I was telling him that in order for me to hit my goals, I had to make 12 contacts an hour for 3 hours. And I wasn't doing it. And I was start thinking, like, there's got to be some magic secret. Like, how do you hit 12 contacts an hour? I'm only hitting 6 or 7. I'm like, I'm going to talk to Andy. I'm going to get him to tell me, what do these high producing agents do to hit 12 contacts an hour? Because that's what I wanted to do. He said, so I explained the limit to him, and he said, Austin, is this something you're committed to? And I said, yeah, of course. He said, just freaking do it. If you're committed, if you're really committed, you'll just do it. And if you don't do it, it's because you're not committed. I'm like, hung up the phone. It's just
mic drop. Okay. Okay.
But isn't that true? Like so many of the things that we want to accomplish, we overcomplicate things in our mind.
On the market.
What's that?
We blame it on like the market, or we blame it on I don't know, whatever our life situation
is going on in our head at that
I don't have the skills, I don't have the tools, I don't have the people, I don't have the space, I don't have the money. It goes on and on and on. When, if episode 3 of Think Like a CEO podcast came out this morning, he was talking about the old guerrilla marketing books.
Yeah.
If you ever read those old guerrilla marketing books, like just hustle, like you just can't outbeat somebody that just works hard.
Right.
And just push. So, man, we didn't spend any money on marketing after that or on inbound leads. We just worked.
All the people we know.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, answer the phone. And if you can't answer the phone,
simple as that.
Call them back, and you're already in the top 10% of agents right there just doing that.
Right.
I hate to say it, but answer your phones, people.
That's funny because the barrier, some people can think that the barrier to entry is so high.
Yeah.
But with that mentality, the truth is the barrier to entry is so low.
Yeah.
Because if you just answer your phone, if you're willing to just call people, right, and call a lot, all right, I'm committed. I'm gonna have 12 contacts an hour.
Yeah.
That means no matter what I do, this phone doesn't go down.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty low barrier of entry, and you don't have to pay for one lead.
You don't have to pay a dime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you can create a phenomenal business.
100%.
Right. 36 contacts a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah. I mean, we got people flipping burgers for 8 hours a day, making minimum wage. I mean, why can't we do the same thing? You can flip 12 burgers an hour. You can make 12 phone calls an hour.
Right.
Wow.
And if it's of our, like my personality makeup, I love people.
Yeah.
I like talking.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm imagining that most of our listeners are in that same mindset. We're salespeople. I mean, we're just naturally, we like people. We're gravitating towards that. So the truth is, put a phone in my hand and I'm doing the funnest thing I could imagine doing. Right. not always the way the mind wants to process that, right?
Yeah.
But it really is like putting us in the best possible position to be successful, because that's what we like to do.
It's a mind game.
Yeah.
It's a mind game. Our mind's always playing tricks on us. And, but how often does something horrible, I mean, I've never died making phone calls,
I've heard this thing. It's like your success rate on like problems is or like trials is 100%, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't die.
We're not
it out.
Right. And always, we're not saving lives in this business.
Yeah, we're not
saving lives. When you run against that, so how about call reluctance? You're in the zone, you're making your calls, you're about to, and your mind starts to kind of talk like it does, where it's like wants to derail you. Like, what do you do? How do you respond?
You growl and you hoot and holler and you start tapping on the desk and the room starts getting quiet. You got to, that's part of our job as leaders, is to create energy. So, I mean, you ask anybody on my team, what's the first thing I do when I walk through the door? I scream.
Love it.
I shout.
Yeah.
This takes energy. Mm-hmm. This takes energy because we don't always see immediate results when we're doing this. I mean, there's been days where I've been on the phone all days. No. The sun goes down. Somebody calls me, hey, can you run numbers on my house? I got to get this thing sold, in the next 30 days. Like, you just keep going and just, fall in love with the process, and the results will take care of itself.
True.
Right. So, yeah. So what do? I also breathe, drink water, take care of yourselves. I might have ADHD. I don't know. The doctor says I do, but you find ways to limit distractions, right. And you build a bunker. You block out that time. You make it sacred, and then you tell people to watch me. It may sound like I'm trying to show off, but I'm actually saying, hey, come watch me do this because I need your help holding me accountable.
Yeah, so you need someone there with you.
Yeah, when I give somebody the invitation to watch me do something, you're gonna make sure you do what you say you're gonna do. So
I remember Shauna said
the buyers.
Yeah, our bar specialist,
Shauna. She said that your atmosphere is almost like electric where you work. How do you create that atmosphere? I know, your culture, it's high energy, right?
Well, so the cool, fun answer, it's kind of like a football game. So here's what's really happening at a football game. There's a lot of people, there's community, there's culture, there's a common interest, maybe a little bit of alcohol. But you know what people don't realize? There's also a scoreboard constantly showing you every stat of every player. If you're at a baseball game, it's showing you the pitch count. It's showing you that there's 2 outs at the bottom of the ninth, full count. You got a man on second, and you need a single. And you wouldn't understand the context of what's happening if it wasn't for the data. And so it goes back to the nerdy part of the answer. On our wall are the numbers. We make a little competition. Here's the connected contacts. Here are the appointments set for the day, for the week, for the month, for the quarter. Wow. And everybody's next to each other. And we got these big TVs in our office. And we just, hey, Steven, I see we're 30 minutes in. You only got 2 contacts. You good? So it's right there. The numbers are right there. So by having that data in front of you, you're able to really understand. You're able to understand the context. And so that's what makes, an exciting play at a baseball game or a football game exciting.
That is cool.
Is the context of that play, which is based on the data on the scoreboard.
I love that idea. You almost need like a gong that you
gong.
Well,
you just hit every time that you get a connect.
Right. And I like the scoreboard idea because there's one, you see your work, but you also see the work in the collective.
Yeah.
So maybe you have a day where you crushed it. You just, you know what? I had lucky dials and people were answering and they were saying yes. That doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Most of the times we're pushing through phone calls just to get answers. But to see the collective effort, right? So it's like, man, today I'm struggling, but man, as a group, somebody else filled the gap.
Yes. Yeah. And we are on the same team.
Yeah.
So with any good team, there's a little bit of competition inside of the team. Always, you know that. And then, but like you said, the collective ultimately is the most important thing. Is, you know, when somebody's sick or when somebody's out or when somebody's just not, you know, like Jose Altuve is a great example. It was like the worst hitting streak ever. Gosh, and we still won the World Series, right? It wasn't because of one person.